What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Sho back with another video, and today we're talking about Disgaea. You know, I do a lot of videos about Disgaea on the channel. I love the series. Didn't really like 6 that much, but we're basically here to talk about, is this the end? If you play 6, then you would probably know that 6 was definitely not the best Disgaea game. I mean, it cut a lot of features out. My whole thing is that the reason why I love Disgaea games when I played them, like when I first played them, my first game was 5, so obviously, yes, I wasn't really deep into the series when 5 came out. It was like the second to latest game. I played 5, and I spent so many hours into it. It was unlike anything I've ever played before, and I loved the franchise. You know, I eventually went back and played 3, 4, and 2. Played a little bit of 1, but some quality of life changes were missing, and I just really couldn't get through that. But I say all this to say, Disgaea 6 was probably, it was definitely a blight on the whole franchise of Disgaea. Now, you may think I'm over exaggerating by saying it's that bad, but they really changed up everything that the series was known for. We lost those beautiful 2D sprites, which is disheartening. To be honest with you, I honestly didn't even care about the 3D. It was one of the things where I didn't like it, no, but I could live with it if everything else was okay. But not only did they add the 3D avatar sprites or whatever, but they also cut so many different features out the game that it made it not even the same game anymore. Let's see, I've been a big Final Fantasy fan for years, and one of my favorite things about the franchise is that they have a lot of like different systems and very confusing mechanics. And that may sound like there's something that's not a positive, but I only say that because in relation to Disgaea is the kind of game where you'll play and you'll obsessively play and try to min-max everything. At least that's the way I played. And you'll have a fun, enjoyable time. It's a silly yet endearing story, interesting enough for me to put so many hours into it. But the reason you may put so many hours into it is because the gameplay in itself is complex. There's so many different layers to how you can actually do gameplay. So basically, it's like chess. You know, you're sitting these pieces down on the map, and they all have the different abilities and different weapons, different ways to fight, and you're trying to figure out how to actually win the match using all your abilities at hand. But what happens if they cut all the abilities out the game? I mean, so many things were missing from Disgaea 6, it was ridiculous. And we just talked about how the gameplay features were gutted, right? That's not the only issue though. I mean, a really big issue is that simply the game does not look good. It does not run good. It does not run well. I mean, if you got the version for like PS5 and stuff, there may be a difference there. But, you know, specifically talking about like maybe the Switch version and the way it launched. Because yes, the other versions may fix it later on down the line, but you have to look at how it launched and how it stayed for a long time. Like, as a standalone game, it doesn't feel as bad. You know, if you haven't played any of the better Disgaea games, you definitely could have a lot of fun playing it. Like, just in a general, I want to start on Disgaea and I want to start from the newest one. Honestly, it would probably be better to start from this one and go backwards. Story mode is still fun, you know, it's still silly, it's still wacky. Characters are okay, you know what I'm saying? And compared to some of the other characters, I really like some of the other characters a lot better. Mainly Valvatore.
Do not worry, Fenric. I'm your master of Albators. And I promise you this, I will find a cure, no matter what. Believe in me and the power of sardines.
Another issue though, besides like, you know, performance issues and the gutted gameplay, is that you can get so OP too fast. I know that seems like, yeah, as a Disgaea fan, you really shouldn't be complaining about that, but it's kind of an issue. Like, just simply playing it and, you know, having experience of how Disgaea games work with the newer mechanics for this 6 game, I completely made my main character ridiculously broken without even really touching the system. I just literally left the system on and let him kill and repeat. This is something that definitely should have been waited for on the post game, because obviously at a certain point, you know, levels don't really matter, it's all about stats. But yes, my stats are insane because all I did was just literally leave the system on overnight, and now I have an OP character. And yes, I mean, I chose to do it myself, so I guess it's on me. But if you have a game where you can kind of completely break it, there's really no fun, no challenging. I feel like Disgaea games have always been challenging, at least to a certain extent, and you know, you can grind and grow to overcome them, but you know, issues with that in this game at least. And as I said before, a lot of the cut gameplay features had a lot of fun, you know, like magic change and the overlord system, which they had in 5, where they would basically be like special abilities you can activate that would do certain things. Your characters. This was probably one of the most funnest systems of any Disgaea game, and it's sad to see they didn't make a return. I mean, it's cool if they wanted to leave it for Disgaea 5 as like a only exclusive thing to the game, but nah, they definitely need to bring it back. It was such a cool feature, and it, you know, it really enhanced a lot of the DLC. Because in this game, the DLC is kind of, I mean, it's your basic DLC, but what do they really do? In Disgaea 5, when you got DLC, they had overlords, or, you know, they had those special abilities where some of them were really OP. I remember the one character, I can't remember his overlord specifically, but he allowed you to actually like release more units from the base. Then he gave you 5 more units, and that's special. You can't get rid of that, man. You can't take the features out the game that people love. Build upon it, man. Don't take them out. They obviously tried to go more mainstream, and that's why I say it's cool as like an introduction to Disgaea. Like, this is something I would feel like should be, maybe not Disgaea 1, but something like Disgaea 2 should be way back. There's so many quality of life changes now that the game, the franchise in itself has, you know, just progressed so much. And it feels like this game, this Disgaea 6 is just a laugh in the face. All in all, man, I still had a little bit of fun with it. I dropped at least like 80 hours into it. I'm thinking about getting the PS5 version because the issues, for me, a lot of the issues, I didn't care about the sprites as much. It was really the performance, and if the PS5 version helps with performance, which it should obviously, then it's definitely a pickup for me, at least later on in the future in a deep sale. Now hopefully Disgaea 7 changes everything about Disgaea 6 and it goes back to the game that we love with the most challenging and complicated gameplay. You know, give us more systems so that when we figure out how to play this game and we become masters of this game, it's so much enjoyable that I wouldn't even want to put it down this time. With that being said, guys, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video.
やれやれだぜ。